Okay, so hopefully this right now everything is good because there's no weird lighting. Well, there's that glow behind me right now, but hopefully it will stay this way. This is like perfect at the moment. I mean, not perfect. I could do without the weird glow behind me, but it's good. So hopefully it will stay this way, or I'm gonna be once again adjusting my stupid Mac. Well, not stupid, but you know what I mean. So it is by Wednesday time, and this week's topic is books that you didn't get to in 2017, which is perfect for the beginning since it's only the first, or well, the second because it's Sunday, second week of the new year. So it's a good topic. Now there's only one book on here that I don't have in my possession, but it's actually a book that I'm not even 100% sure if I'm ever gonna get to it. I mean, it's one of these ones that I am really interested in it, but it's not one I would normally buy for myself. It's like, because it's a contemporary actually, and I'm not a huge contemporary fan. I mean, I've read a few contemporaries, especially last year, because now our library is a 10-minute walk for me. Well, 10, 20, yeah, 10-minute, because my dad was saying that it takes 10 minutes for me to go to the library, and that will take 10 more minutes for me to go to walk to the bookstore in our little shopping area, a little shopping village area. So I think, yeah, it takes 10 minutes for me to go into the library, and I can, like I said, it's a walking distance. So I was utilizing our library a lot last year, but I've since stopped utilizing it. I mean, I'm still going to use it, but I was taking a break from it because I had neglected my own personal collection of books, because I would get 3 or 4 books, and you can borrow them, like you have a 2-week span where you can borrow them, and then you have to return them. Although you can just recheck them out, I know, but I just don't like to. I don't want to keep rechecking them out. And sometimes there are a lot of books that, unless are times when sometimes there are books that will take me longer. I mean, like, taking me a whole month to read them. Especially, like, the over 500-page books. I made that mistake when I borrowed both East of Eden and, The Secret History by Dawn Tartt. And one second, my phone's buzzing, so let me check that and make sure it's not my parents. Sorry about that. I had to make sure that it wasn't my parents or work buzzing me via my phone, but that was just I was texting one of my friends, so she was responding back to me. So anyway, like I said, this week's topic is the books you didn't get to in 2017. So these are in no particular order. Actually, let me go ahead and start with the book that I don't have in my possession, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Now, I am constantly hearing about Rainbow Rowell and her books on BookTube. She's one of those really popular authors, and like I said, I'm not a huge contemporary fan. She's never been an author that I've been interested in, but Fangirl sounded like a book that I could relate to. Like most people on BookTube, we all probably can relate to the main character in that book. But she's a college student. She has anxiety. She's very shy. I'm guessing very introverted. I mean, this is from what I've heard about the book and stuff. And she writes fan fiction, which is something that I used to do. I have not done it since. I mean, which is partly because the show I used to write fan fiction for. I mean, I know there are plenty of other shows I could write fan fiction for, but a lot of the shows I like, they have their subject matters. It would be very difficult for me to write fan fiction for, because I feel like I would have to do the research, and now I have to know the subject. Like the relationships, like the romance and family relationships, that's easy. To me, that's easy to write. I mean, it's not easy, but it's easier to write than like a show, than like a mythology or the science of a show. That's the hard part. So, and I love, my favorite shows, of course, are all science fiction and fantasy. Well, more fantasy than science fiction. And the show I used to write for was Once Upon a Time, because I did used to love that show. Unfortunately, the direction the writers went with that show, I completely disagree with. So I stopped watching it, and I have held a major grudge on that show. But that's a whole nother topic. So, and I need to stay focused on today on this topic. So, I've since, I kind of stopped, and it's hard for me to get back into it when I no longer watch the show, and, even though I'm still part of the Facebook groups that have to do with the show, it's not as easy for me to write about it, because I'm thinking about other shows and movies and books and stuff. I'm not thinking about Once Upon a Time, so it's hard for me to get back into it. But, anyway, so like I said, because the main character in that story writes fan fiction, and she has a lot of similar personality traits to me, from what I've heard, it was one that I was definitely interested in. I wanted to read it. But like I said, I am not a contemporary reader, so it's not the first book I will set my eye on when I go to the bookstore. I mean, if it comes a lot, like they actually, it was really annoying because the library had the Carry On book, that is the book that Kath, the protagonist of Fangirl, the fan fiction she was writing, they had that at the library. Like Rainbow Rowell had wrote that, and wrote Carry On, her interpretation of it, her version of Carry On. And that one was at the library, but they did not have Fangirl. And I was like, are you kidding me? You have Carry On, the spin-off book, but they don't have the original book it came from. I was like, I just didn't want to read. I wasn't interested in Carry On. I mean, I guess I probably would like Carry On, and maybe this year I'll borrow it from the library. But the first and foremost, I want to read Fangirl. And it hasn't been at the library, which kind of annoys me. I mean, and you would think it would be, because, I mean, if they have Carry On, why not Fangirl? And I don't think it's checked out, because this is a retirement community first and foremost, so there's not a lot of people that would read a lot of the YA books that I read. So I never had a problem with that, of someone else wanting to check out the book I wanted to check out. But yeah, that Fangirl is one of those ones. I don't know if I'll get to it or not, because, as I keep saying, I'm not a contemporary reader, but I am interested in it. So maybe I will at some point this year, or maybe I'll just go ahead and borrow it. I kind of want to get the hardback edition, because it is really nice, and and maybe I can blame BookTube for this, but I've definitely been more interested in collecting hardback editions of books, because they are really nice. I just finished, and I'm going to make a video about that. I just finished Heartless, and I love that. I love the dust jacket for that one, and then when you take the dust jacket off, and the naked cover of that book it's so beautiful. So I definitely am more interested in getting hardbacks. It's just that they're kind of pricey. And, I mean, I just work retail at a grocery store, and although I did do government internships, so I still have a good amount of money in my account, but I just try to be careful and not get a lot of hardbacks. But, like I said, I'm definitely more interested in hardbacks now. Okay, so now on to the ones that I actually have in my possession. That was number 1, Fangirl. Okay, so I guess I'll go with number 2, the book that I originally, when I typed my document version of this, this I will go with this one next as my number 2 book, because originally it was the first one, but I figure I'd talk about the one I don't have first. So I read the first book in this duology already this past year, back in 2017, around, I want to say August or September. I know it was before Halloween, because afterwards, around Halloween, I was thinking it would have been a good Halloween read. But I had already read it. That was Six of Crows. And I already had this one. I just hadn't gotten around to reading it. I'm the type of person who, I try not to get to series right away, and that's partly because I'm not able to buy them right away, because I cannot drive. It's part of my disability makes it difficult for me to master the task of driving, even though I'm 28 years old. So I have to rely on, other people transporting me, or or public transportation. And at the moment, we don't live near a city, so there's no public transportation except for a taxi. And unfortunately, it cost, just to get to where I work, which is right around the corner. It's a 2-minute drive, and it costs $15 both ways, to and from. Not 15 altogether, but 15 going to, and then if I need the taxi to go back, 15 to go back to my house. And it's not that, like I said, it's a 2-minute drive. Well, maybe 5 minutes. I'm never good at estimating time. So I have to, so I was never able to get to, go to the bookstore as often as I would like, which is probably a good thing, because I don't that way I won't be buying books, every day. But so I don't like to get, basically, the point of that is, the point of me saying that is because, I wouldn't get to a series right away unless I bought the next book in the series, which is what I do try to do. I always try to get, at least the first and the second book, or at least I try to get the next book in the series. If I'm thinking about reading the one before it, I wasn't trying to get the next book right away. And that is, I already bought this at Target, and the good news, what is good news is there's no paperback edition, so the paperback edition hasn't come to our stores here in the U.S. yet. So I had no excuse but to buy this lovely hardback edition with the red edged pages, and the lovely cover, and oh well. There's nothing on the naked cover, except for this awesome, if you can't really see it, but if you have the book, you'll know there's an image of, I'm guessing, a crow or a raven. I think it's supposed to be a crow on the hardback edition, on the naked cover. So I didn't want to read this right away after I read Six of Crows. I wanted to wait. There's some times where, after I read Mist and Fury, I couldn't wait. So as soon as I read that one back in April, A Court of Mist and Fury. So I was as soon as the A Court of Wings and Ruins came out, as soon as it came out, I was done with A Court of Mist and Fury. I was okay, Mom, Dad, you gotta take me to, or Mom and Grandma, because my grandma was in town. It was you guys gotta take me to, the bookstore. Because they were actually running errands anyway. So I didn't want to, I've been waiting to read this one, and then of course time got away from me, and there was so many other books that I got into, and, so I'm definitely going to read that this year. I might read it this month. My goal is to read it this month. Although I've added another book to the list of books I want to read this month, because on Facebook, on one of the Facebooks one of the Facebook groups I'm in, they posted a video on books that you should read after you read Harry Potter, And one of the books that I've had for a long time that I bought years ago, City of Dark Magic, was on that video. They mentioned that book as a book to read. That if you read Harry Potter, so I was inspired to. Okay, I'm gonna add that to my list of books to read. But anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one this year. Probably this month, maybe next month. I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna read it this year. Okay, so the next book. Okay, so I'm already kind of in the middle of reading her other book, and both of those books. Actually, no, the other book, that one I got at Books A Million. The other book of hers that I am currently reading, that one I got at Books A Million. This one I saw at the used bookstore for it's like $2 or $3, maybe $4. I don't know. But I got so excited when I saw this because I knew I wanted to read more of Donna Tartt's work because I've liked what I've read of The Secret History of her, like her writing style and stuff. Now I know that I've heard a lot of people say that, I've heard that some people have said that if you like The Secret History, you won't like this one, and vice versa. If you love this one, then you won't like The Secret History. So far, I like The Secret History, but I also don't think I'm not one of those people who, but I don't, well, I mean, granted, I have no interest in J.K. Rowling's other work, like the work that she writes under the name Robert Galbraith. Granted, it's her other work is a detective story, and I kind of like detective stories, like The Casual Vacancy. So I don't know. I at the moment I have no interest. So, but but I think I'm probably gonna be one of those few people that likes both. Basically, but I definitely want to read this at some point this year. And I like this one because it, I really like the cover for this book. I think it's really cool. The whole how it's written, the title and her name, the author's name is written in crayon, black crayon. I think, I'm guessing it's that way because the author, it's about the author, not the author, it's about the protagonist's life, him growing up and stuff. So I'm guessing that's why. And it won a Pulitzer Prize. I definitely, this year, one of my goals, if you watched my video on my top 5 goals, I want to read more literary stuff. I read a lot of fantasy, YA fantasy, so I definitely want to expand and read more literary stuff and more horror books. I mean, I have started to expand. Like, I've read more 500-page books and actually finished them. The ones that aren't YA, because I realized there are some YA authors that write, like, over 500-page novels as their series progresses. Like J.K. Rowling and Sarah J. Maas, for instance. And I did not realize that. I didn't even think about when I was reading Goblet of Fire the first time, I didn't think about the fact that it was over 500 pages. But apparently, it actually is. It's over 500 pages. So, but I guess because the way YA and middle grade, is written, it's easier for someone to read those and get through them a lot faster. And the pacing is not as slow as adult fiction or as literary fiction is. Like, it's very fast paced and exciting because they know that a teenager and a child's attention span is not the same as an adult attention span. I mean, even when you are in your first decade of adulthood, your attention span might not be as long either. Sorry, I just noticed my beagle just came in the room and is now laying on my love seat. At least with that love seat, the color of that, you can't see the hair. It's like a grayish blue color. But now if I'm wearing black, or if it was black, then yeah, you could see the hair. Which actually, now that I think about it, it means that the couch is probably really covered with a lot of dog hair. Sorry. Okay, so I want to read that one. Okay, so the next book. Okay, this again, another one I found at the used bookstore. I had been hearing about this book constantly and I wanted to read it, and that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Actually, what kind of inspired me to read it? I mean, I was interested before this, but what really got me interested and eager to read it is because, first of all, there was a TV series made, and one of the actors in the TV series was on the series Gallivant, which yes is a series, it's not a mini series, it was an actual series. Sadly though it got cancelled. But one of the actors on that one, I think an actor from season 2 of that one, the last season that they had, is in the TV show version of this series. And I really like Gallivant, and I like magic and fantasy, and any kind of fantasy. Which is, to me, I'm not super picky. It doesn't have, it's like, I will do low fantasy or epic fantasy. Although, I've been kind of, or high fantasy, I should say. I have been kind of getting away from the paranormal stuff. I mean, the closest I've read to paranormal in the last year is probably The Raven Cycle, which is more magical realism than paranormal. But, it's, like I said, it's probably the closest. Well, actually, no. I read I finished up the Castor Chronicles. And Red Rain is kind of more horror than paranormal. Paranormal and horror can be kind of the same thing. But I've been getting away from the paranormal stuff, especially vampires. Like, you have people that will stay away from certain things in fiction. Like, if it has this in the story, then they're not going to read it. Like, if it has a love triangle, for instance. Me, what I won't read anymore is vampires. If there's a vampire in there, I won't read it. That's why I'm not into the idea of a discovery of witches. I don't know what the actual series is called. Because it has vampires too, and although the vampires aren't the main characters, so I don't know. I'm debating with that one. I'm sure you guys would probably say I should read. If you've read that and you're one of the many people who has, you probably say, who cares? You should read it. And it does sound kind of fun, and like I said, the main characters are witches, not vampires, which is nice. But anyway, that's off topic. So I saw this at the used bookstore, and I got this audible gasp moment as soon as I saw it, because if I got it at like Books A Million, it would be like probably $10, $13. But here at the used bookstore, it was like $2 or $3. I was like, okay, I'm getting this before someone else grabs it, because it was the only one there. Sorry, I still have my cold, although it's going away, which is nice. It's a relief. So I just had to jump at the chance of getting it. So I'm gonna read that one this year. And then the last one I have here, let me get a sip of my coffee. I probably shouldn't be drinking because my grandma already pointed out to me that I'm a little on the bigger side right now. Well, I'm not that big. I'm actually pretty skinny, but I do have a little bit of a stomach here. And my grandma's the person who will remind you of that. Not to be mean or anything, but I don't get all crazy about my weight or anything, but I do get a little self-conscious when someone points and reminds me that I need to be careful with what I eat, and I shouldn't eat so much. But I love food. I'm a foodie. I figure, I run. It's just I haven't run in a while because, like, we went away for the holidays, and then when we came back, like, we went to visit my grandma for the holidays, the same one we just came back from. And then we came home for a day, and then we turned around, went to my sister's. And we weren't at my grandma's that long, so there was no point in bringing my running clothes. And it was cold, anyway. And then my sister, I don't ever, when I go there, I don't ever run when I go there. I mean, it's kind of hard because, I don't want to leave the house. And I don't know that neighborhood, so I would want my sister to go with me, and she, she can't. She can't because she has to work, and then she has to take care of her boys and stuff, So then, we finally come home, and snow. And the first time in 30 years, it snows in the Carolinas. And really bad. And so it kind of got away from me. So I'm hoping it will start to get warmer. I think it's going to start to get warmer this week. So I'll have to run. So I'll start getting to the habit of running again. And luckily I am off Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm off Friday and Saturday. Or at least that's what it looks like, because they called me in, so. Okay, let me finish with this. Okay, so the last book, I had mentioned earlier in this video that this was a book I checked out from the library, but I ended up returning it because I knew it was going to take me a lot longer to read. And I mean, I had already started this book, and I haven't come back to it because there are other books that I want to read, and then and that's books like this, I know I need 100% focus, and it will be hard, and I need to avoid reading. I need to focus. I need to focus only on that book. It's just so it's kind of hard for me to read books. That's why it's hard for me to read books that are 500 or more pages. That is East of Eden by Steinbeck. I read Steinbeck of Mice and Men in one of my I think in middle school, one of my middle school English class, and at the time I was kind of bored with it. Like I said, it was middle school I think when I read it, so I was 12, 13 at the time. And then around the same time, my dad took me to see the play version of Grapes of Wrath, and I felt really bad because I fell asleep. And it's not cheap to go see a play. And I mean, this was in Washington D.C. and at Ford's Theater, actually, the same theater where Lincoln got shot. Yep, that theater still does stuff there, and that's not the first time I've been there, because in elementary school we did the whole tour of the Ford's Theater and Dr. Mudd's house and the Surratt Inn, and we basically drove, that was a field trip we took, although I really wish I could go there again and do that whole, with my family or something, but, I mean, we no longer live in Maryland, we live in North Carolina now. But I would love to go back there and do that whole, one day for a weekend, just do, explore that neck of the woods. Maybe stay with my sister in Virginia, and then one of the days we drive up there. Maybe when the boys are, a little older. I think that would be really fun. That's why I should suggest to my sister to do that. But anyway, but it was, to be fair to myself, it was late at night when we saw the play. And like I said, I was probably around 12, 13, maybe a little bit younger. And it's not the most exciting play. It's not like a musical, and the plot is kind of, compared to, Harry Potter, the plot is kind of dull. I mean, it's basically not East of Eden, but Grapes of Wrath. It's all these people during the 1930s, and they're living in, where the Dust Bowl is and stuff, and, I think they lose everything, and, so it's not the most exciting play, and but, I feel now that I'm older and more mature in my mindset, and I can, but, I've definitely been wanting to read more of Steinbeck, and reread of Mice and Men, and actually read the book version of Grapes of Wrath. Because they're classics, and they're, very famous. You have the famous line from Grapes of Wrath, which is something, whenever there's a blah blah blah, I'll be there, and blah blah blah. I don't really know the line, but but like I said, I haven't read the book, so I've one of my favorite booktubers I watch, Words of a Reader. Her name's Leslie, I think. Is constantly talking about this book. She reads a lot of children's literature and classics, and she talks about this book quite a bit. So I was definitely, and the way she talks about the books that she reads, she makes me like she's very she's one of the booktubers that I watch because she speaks so eloquently about the books that she loves. Um, so she talked about this book, and it made me more interested. And she's a booktuber that makes me want to read more like actual literature, like a lot of the classics in literary fiction. The way she talks about those books, and she even makes me more interested in children's fiction. But that's not normally one that I jump at the chance to read because I get frustrated with the writing style. It's hard for me to get past I have to remind myself, okay, this is written for kids. So it's not going to be, the writing style is not going to be as challenging. It's not going to be as intellectual because it's written for younger people. It's written for kids. It's not going to be as intellectually stimulating. It's going to be more, it's not going to be as in-depth and as detailed as like Harry Potter. Although, well, no, Harry Potter's kind of started I feel like it started in the middle school level of reading. But it's just, but yeah, she does, but she still makes me interested in it. And so I decided I need to get back into reading. I need to read Steinbeck and try again. And like I said, now that I'm older and more mature of a reader, I can read him. I can appreciate his works a little bit more. And I actually have, those books that they sell at Barnes & Noble. They're hardbacks. They look like very old-fashioned books. They're naked covers, and you can get them for like $20 or more. Well, I think it was my sister bought me a collection of Steinbeck's novels, of his short novels, and Of Mice and Men was in that one, so I'm going to read that one as well. But I really want to read this one. And as you can see, I've already kind of started it, but like I said, I haven't come back to it in a while. I do remember it a little bit. Actually, I'm almost done with the chapter. But I remember it's about like an epic family saga, family living, I think, in California. And it's supposed to be like a retelling of the whole Bible story of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and stuff. I think that it's supposed to be a retelling of that. I feel like though I should start over with it and read it when I don't have any other books distracting me, which is kind of hard. But I want to continue. This is another book I want to get to this year, and I want to finish it this year. But I don't know if that will happen, but it's definitely on my list. Okay, so those are the top 5. There are plenty more. There are a lot of series I want to get to, and then I didn't get to this, but I don't have them. Like the Remnant Chronicles, I'm kind of interested in that. I want to continue reading the Raven Cycle. I can now read the 3rd book because I got the 4th one for Christmas from my sister. I was waiting to read the 3rd one until I got the final book for that one. I want to continue with. I wanted to get Tower of Dawn. That's one I want to read this year, but I don't know. I still have to finish reading Queen of Shadows, and I'm not very far into that one. That one's been taking me kind of slow because I am a Cale fan, and I just don't like how things are going with Cale and Selena right now. So it's been kind of hard for me it was hard for me to get into it, but I did get back into it before I left. So so there are a lot of series, but I also kind of didn't want to do a whole bunch of series for this top 5. I wanted to do a variety of books. I'm the only one that, well, actually it's not a series, the duology. The only one I mentioned, of course, is Crooked Kingdom. But there are a lot of series I need to finish that I want to read. Again, I want to continue. And one of the other major ones is Fallen Kingdoms. I want to continue that. I want to continue Shades of Magic trilogy. I know that V. Schwab is writing a sequel to Vicious, so I want to do that one. I want to get that one. I probably won't get to that one this year though. And there's a lot. There's a lot of series I need to get to. But anyway, so that's my top 5. If you guys are interested in doing top 5 Wednesday, this is a Goodreads group, and I will send you guys the link. It's a Goodreads group created by Ginger Reads Lady and Thoughts on Tomes, and it's currently hosted by Thoughts on Tomes. Or if you're just interested, then you can always just do it, just look at the group for topics. You don't have to join it. You can just do it for fun. If you don't want to do it, then just share with me in the comments what are your top 5. What are your books that you want to get to this year that you didn't get to last year? If you liked my rambly video, then hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to me. No pressure, but I would appreciate it if you did. All right, bye.